Okay, both teams, fans desperate to keep them in World's Hope. Now Cube
Kramer's gone and done it, Atlas.
Oh dear.
He's gone Relic Shield on Isaiah.
Oh, this is why we love you.
I think we've just learned that he just loves his support more than anyone else. Does any AD carry look at their support
handsome Tucson
like
is?
Kramer looks at Tucson?
I don't think so. That's why they're playing the Lovers bottom lane.
And I'll take a shot at Sven, who said he would go Relic Shield for Mithy and didn't.
Oh,
That was a love story made in Europe, but not the same happy ending we see here, where it's always the Relic Shield recently for Kramer.
yep. Kramer just wants to give the money to Tucson. Bring home the bacon for his boy on the bottom side.
What does that mean for his item builder? Because will it just be what we saw attempted by Wolf in the grand final of the LCK, rushing the Ardent Sensor on the side of Rakan? If you get it comically early, like can happen here, well, Kuro has to deal with that. That's going to be a preview of the laning phase. It could be fine, but so often we saw Wolf assassinated by burst damage when he went for a rush on the Ardent Sensor. If he gets it earlier, will he avoid that? It's only a Janna for support, so there's a chance.
Oh, this is a cute little strategy. Kramer picking up a couple of little puppies before heading towards the bottom side. They really want to get themselves into a powerful position, and they're set up level 1 with the W being taken by Kramer as well to give Tucson as much power as he can. Oh, look at that Relic Shield value coming in for both of them.
If you're going to do this, you probably don't want to actually show what you skilled, because then you can surprise them with the Blade Caller and the Deadly Plumage at level 2, and also the big engage from Tucson. So I think they're smart not to use any spells yet and go for that quick level 2 with the extra experience.
And look at that communication and reaction time from Kramer and Tucson at the same time. Getting rid of the ward. Oof. I'm on this bottom lane synergy hype train, most certainly, Pop Smithy.
Already level 2 reached for Kramer.
Yep, and the confusion now sets in for Samsung Galaxy.
They're like, wait, we counted minions, what happened?
Yep. Doesn't actually mean too much. Taru's going to be able to take the Rift Scuttler. Thankfully, it was a red start for the Lee Sin, and Spirit feeling pretty comfortable, but is it going to be the same story for Kuro, who might get baited into going for some backline
Spirit's
minions?
being pretty greedy here, going for more of a full clear rather than already trying to extinguish a fire in mid lane, but at least Kuro wasn't in position to be ganked by Haru.
Yep, now it's Marin that has to be careful as Haru's going to move towards the top side. Crown, all right, going aggressive, throws some pebbles out, but doesn't find the seismic shove.
Tempo means so much with both these drafts. Hard to have any sort of realistic tempo if you're Afreeca, but you have double teleport, so you do have a bit of a quicker reaction as...
Speaking of reactions...
Ruler does what we've seen other AD carries fail to do.
Yeah, actually waits for the rocket jump, like it a lot. As Kramer, oh, he was going to share some damage with Tucson as well, that's cute. But Core JJ almost gets obliterated by that engage. Freak's in control here on the bottom side, actually winning by a considerable margin, almost a full creep wave ahead as far as farm. Is this wave not necessarily crashing into the turret just yet? Freak's in a great position to farm.
Spirit's level 4. Looking for a gank of his own. Still there, looking for a nice angle. They might try a dive here, risky.
Yep, Grand Entrance comes in, but they don't find Core JJ with the knock-up as Tucson. Not exactly super comfortable, tanking the turret for a very long time, actually.
That was a little bit too similar to their failed gank in the first game up top side.
Felt a bit of Freaks, did it not?
I was able to get confirmation from OGN that there was no GP10 run in the Lulu, so Lulu did run standard laning runes rather than the GP10 runes that all of our Janna players have played around with, basically flat ability power on the blues, armor reds, and then gold the 10 is what we're going to be seeing run by Core JJ.
Okay, Cube actually trying to go in, but I believe Sap Magic actually made it look like his crush did no damage, which was cute. But going aggressive. No mana for the Maokai, who's just trying to weather the storm until he can go back and grab his first item, which should be now. Teleport back to that lane as well.
And there's a lot of storms. Like this, maybe that's not even the right comparison. There's a lot of fires going on for Afreeca because they have a losing pressure top, a losing pressure mid, and a Relic Shield AD carry support. So they are going for a lot of investment again, but is that the read, Atlas? Is that the read against Samsung that you can just go scaling and they won't punish you? I would have said no with where Haru was at in spring, but he hasn't had enough game time, and the champion pool available isn't the same sort of champion pool that he made his name on in spring. So Afreeca just going full scaling and then basically waiting for the time where they can double teleport in, have a targeted route from the Maokai, and Kassadin jumping around. But they just want to lose the minimum before that happens.
Yeah, also then you've got Kramer in a different position than he was last game, but still with a lot of power. Just all the disruption being caused by the Maokai, by the Lee Sin, and the fact that the Kassadin has to be a priority this time. Kramer might find himself able to get a lot of work done without necessarily the giant target on the back of his head. Ruler, though, able to shove him in finally on this bottom side and will even out the farm, at least until this wave is picked up by Kramer. Okay, Grand Entrance comes in. They do at least get the knock-up onto Ruler, but he does, of course, still have that rocket jump available. Just holds onto it. Not even too frightened there as Guru teleports back to his mid lane.
Try telling 2016 Atlas about Doran's Shield versus Relic Shield bot lane. It's about the least interactive set of items you could ever ask for between the carries.
That would have made me a little bit upset, but I have some stories to tell about the old Doran's Shield. In the Oceanic region, that was certainly a thing. Back before Graves was changed, there was a few pro players that played around with just playing full battle Graves on the bottom side of the map. That was fun.
Shouldn't dwell on the fact that we're both Australian casters too much. People realize the ruse that we've created over all these years.
What, they thought that we were actually Korean? Not sure whether that's the thing.
We're infiltrating Atlas. It was very American dominated before, this global casting sphere, but us Aussies are getting out there.
Yeah, we're actually taking over the world. Have you seen how many Australians there are just littering the world?
It's true. They're getting out there.
Yeah, as far as commentators are concerned anyway. I know that, you know, everyone travels, so that's obviously not exactly a surprise. Freak's getting back towards his bottom side. No one buying just yet as far as our bottom laners as Cuvée hits the Mega Gnar, but Spirit once again up here, but spotted once more by the wards. Cuvée holding onto his life for much longer than he did in the last game. And Samsung actually with slight gold advantage, about 400.
I mean, if you thought Samsung had a risk-free roam in Game 1, let me introduce you to Game 2, where pretty much Haru can go to any jungle camp and know he's going to take a 1v1. So he's feeling pretty great. That's why he can just happily go for a blue buff steal, because who's going to stop him?
Well, not Spirit. He's actually looking for Crown, as I don't believe he was spotted. Pings out onto where Kuro is as he walks over the ward, but goes Spirit looking for the cube, but doesn't find it. And Haru's just successfully taken away the blue buff. Sad times. Will he actually set himself up to cop a Sonic Wave? No, it doesn't.
Actually pretty greedy for Afreeca Freaks to try to clear the control wards down from Afreeca. They don't know. So from Samsung, they don't know where Haru is, but Haru just chooses to escape, and Crown could just get soloed.
Yep, there's the kickback. Q's going to land all too easily, and Spirit grabs first blood once again.
What was Haru doing the entire time? He went far too safety-oriented when they win the 2v2. That's another sign of his rookie status, at least relatively in the postseason. He has unperformed a couple of times. He's just out of position.
Well, there's the flash knock-up. Tucson picks up that kill, but I believe the Kuro would have wanted it. They'll take a 2-0 lead, though, in the kills, and they've taken 800 gold lead already here at 9 minutes.
That's a tilter, Atlas. A big tilter here. Samsung had control. They had double control ward down, and Jarvan ready to go with double buffs. Instead, they just all seem to misunderstand where their power lies, and randomly Tucson enters bot lane with double buffs.
Yeah. And now he has to go again. And look, Core JJ was underneath that turret thinking, I have to do something here because they just got three-manned in the mid lane and there was nothing we could do about it. But he's a Janna. Like, what is he going to do? They're not going to be able to dive Kramer or anything like that. He's going to go back to base. BF Sword and his Berserker's Greaves already completed. And even Spirit's going to be delivered a bunch of farm here as they clean up. Afreeca Freaks playing probably the cleanest we've seen for a long time, honestly. Even against MVP, there were the old question marks, but so far here in game number 2, they've had answers when often it's just, we've got aggression and we'll throw that at you and see whether you can handle it.
And it's just already a disaster for Samsung. They should never be behind in gold pre-20 minutes. Against the comp they're facing, already behind 700. The rush on the Ardent Sensors being run by Tucson, understandably, after he picked up a victory. Afreeca, you need to understand specifically about Kassadin versus Taliyah is that Kassadin wins this matchup super hard with a blue buff after 6 because he can take trades and the return trades don't hit from Crown. It's very hard for Taliyah to take even trades. It's supposed to be 2 control wards down, and hey, if you ever rift walk forward, you have to have the PTSD that the enemy jungler is there. They've cleared out the wards. They've already got kill involvements onto the Kuro, and now bot lane.
Yeah, they're looking for more down bottom. The Monsoon does come in from CoreJJ. Decent healing onto Ruler, but his rocket jump has to come out in the end, and they're not going to win that trade. In comes Spirit. And Cube actually gets out of the way of the ultimate. The kickback comes in, but decent crush, and the Gnar comes in. Oh my god, Cube, the Gnar god of the top lane, takes down Spirit. He's looking for the 1 versus 2 victory.
He hit it.
Yep, throwing it forward. There's the
What
flash.
a monster!
The double kill versus 2 of the Afreeca Freaks. Cube almost saving the game on his own.
Tristan goes the wrong way. Haru's here.
Yep, it is going to be the battle dance to get himself out of the way, though. But my god, that top lane play. Cuve's just putting this team on his back.
A year ago, Atlas, Cuve was the reason they fell down. Even in spring season, he was taken out by Smeb. Monstering it in top lane as bot lane Haru. He's a little bit too cheeky around the turret. That wasn't the best EQ either. He might just be dead.
Yep, he is probably going to die. The flash does come out as the Featherstorm comes in there as well. Ruler walks out of the way, but that is not the direction that this should have been going in this 3 versus 2 with Kramer very low.
Haru really needs to just calm down, go back, really rely on his laners to call him, because so far he has made some critical errors and there's only so much a Gnar can do alone. Cuve has had a wonderful summer season after being really one of their problems in spring where he couldn't play the carries. His champion pool is in a wonderful spot. Bot lane.
Yep, there is another aggressive move forward, but Spirit lands the Q. CoreJJ should follow, throws down at least the flash to try and escape, but the Blade Caller will be there eventually. It's a double for Spirit. The redemption of that previous play, immediate for the Afreeca Freaks.
And Samsung are trying to copy other people's strategies again, running the Janna comp, CoreJJ just wanting to get Ruler a fast Ardent Sensor. But this is Afreeca's wheelhouse. They are the team that has been running it consistently, and just ganking the Janna is an option available. Spirit jumps on a super early game dueling jungler in the Lee Sin and is getting massive value out of him. And Cuve has such a feel-good moment that should have reverberated around Samsung's side, but a couple of mistakes later, you wonder if it's all going to be in vain.
Yep, and Marin is on the champion that is more than happy just to weather the storm. He was 2-0 on it in their series against MVP. Always been a fantastic teleport user. We say it every single time. It's starting to get boring, but as far as just surviving, Maokai is the best option, as Haru's going to find Spirit, or the other way around, which is the more likely option, and he does Blast Cone his way out. But that's message received by Haru. Spirit going aggressive.
Such a disaster. They have no control in the mid lane. Kuro is winning in CS. Bot lane is getting kills. Only top lane is a problem. But like you say, Marin can die a couple of times. He'll build a Catalyst. He'll build
flat out doesn't care, right?
He's just going to buy it. You know what he's going to do? He's going to build a Catalyst. He's got his Merc trades. He's going to build into the some tank items and be happy. You know? That's just all you have to do as a Maokai. He has a very low item floor where he just buys an item and can kind of go from there. Righteous Glory is probably going to be his first real item purchase, and then he will do what Maokai has always done in fights. So even Cuve getting ahead is not a big problem for Afreeca.
Nope. Unless Cuve can turn around the script on Gnar that we've seen in the LCK for the majority of the time, which has been set him up as a split pusher. He's going for the Black Cleaver to start things off. We saw the adorable adaptation from Marin to pick up Blade of the Ruin King afterwards, but it might just be full tank for Cuve, and he'll try and affect fights like he was able to navigate that 1 versus 2 on the top side of the map. If he can do that when we hit the team fighting phase, they do have Taliyah to disrupt and then Ruler for the consistent DPS, but it could be asking a lot from Cuve, who certainly has been a shining light for Samsung as far as improvement. It's just so hard to do, as there's another grand entrance on the bottom side. Monsoon comes in once again, but CoreJJ has to cancel it because he's taking so much damage. Buster Shot does so much work in saving his life, but when you're just saving the life of your support, you're not winning the lane in any regard on the side of Samsung. And
Janna isn't about winning lane, but Afreeca have rotated around the Janna, punished the Janna when Tristana has pushed up. Now we're seeing just want to wave clear under turret, and they need to invest their mid laners' time just to guarantee it.
Yep, and Kuro's now going to have all of that time in the mid lane as well. If he wanted to start smacking on that turret, he's got that sheen built up. Haru against the flow of play is looking for this Rift Herald and will find it. So that is certainly a good thing. But can Afreeca Freaks now just bully this turret down? Spirit's going to turn up, and CoreJJ and Ruler just can't walk forward because of all of the gap close that Afreeca Freaks have. They just wouldn't have been able to get into turret range.
They do invest the very recently finished Rift Herald into the top side. They'll get that turret for free. It's already low.
Yep.
But they need to use a neutral in order to get any sort of neutrality when it comes to turrets going down, as bot lane has been assassinated as well.
Well, the Dragon should be picked up here by the Afreeca Freaks as well. Mountain Drake to start things off is certainly a good feel for this squad, who were gifted a heck of a lot of clouds and oceans yesterday, so pretty happy to see some more brown ones and potentially red ones coming in next. Cloud Drake, damn it. I think I just jinxed them. Love Smithy.
Yeah, Cloud's fine though.
Well, I guess it does suit the Afreeca Freaks who just want to be moving into the action more and more often.
Action is something they always provide, as Haru probably didn't want it just now.
Yeah, this is not the kind of action that he was bargaining for. Okay, Crown now, once again, having to play safe. And you have to remember, this is a Kassadin with a sub-9-minute Rod of Ages completion as well. As far as acceleration, Kuro, this is not the time where he was relegated to the top lane, as Tucson has to battle dance his way out. CoreJJ takes half of his health bar by one spell rotation on the side of Kuro. Afreeca Freaks, their disengage ability is actually fantastic. You'd expect the team with the Janna to have that one in spades, but just the mobility that they have with Kassadin, with Kramer having the Feather Storm, as well as Tucson's Battle Dance to get himself out of the way. It's just pretty exceptional, not to mention Lee Sin just generally having so much ability to move.
And we should talk about what this game was supposed to look like as it went on, because when you go for the Kassadin, the laning phase after 6 is good, especially if you have tempo around mid lane. The side lanes is excellent later, because Talia usually can do her impression of a teleport mid laner, but not even have to take that particular summoner. She can't against Kassadin. She will be chased down and killed in a side lane. But what should have happened for Samsung, the draft with how it reads, is that they get the advantage early, which they should. They have 3 winning lanes. Then they rotate around and destroy turrets with the power of the Tristana and the Weaver's Wall behind an objective. We've seen many teams at their best do it. We saw Longzhu do it in the final. As Kuro chases on to QV. There's no turret here, remember?
Yeah, he's going to be able to get the slow, the Force Pulse there as well. Marin just wanting to close distance, but look at this. The cavalry is most certainly here. There's the zoning grand entrance to come down as QV taking a lot of damage. Can Kramer actually find the kill? No, he cannot. So QV just wanders out of the way. So Tucson, it was an odd move. I understand why he did it, but it didn't work.
Yeah, but the ganking there from Afreeca does leave open multiple lanes that should not have been possible. That's why they have to use a teleport. Spirit has to give up his health lead. Because of the early game going the way of Afreeca, it's never been the setup from Samsung they want, where they have control wards and deep vision and just set up for those turrets. A lot of teams tried it. Samsung themselves against SKT and weren't able to make it work. Longzhu were good enough to make it work.
You're not very healthy, buddy. Spirit is, of course, here, but what's he going to do? Catch them with a Gleaming Quill. Bestest ability in the game. It's Ruler. Oh, okay. Tag by Q. No kick flashes shenanigans going to come out from Spirit.
They could really use a Sightstone as well, Samsung, if they're going to try and play multiple lanes, but none yet for CoreJJ.
Yeah, the full Ardent Sensor rush to make sure that Ruler has that extra item in his belt, knowing that Tucson already has his. Of course, the Oasis already done as well. Thank you very much, Relic Shield. 2 items, and that means that he's a lot more tanky. The Oasis actually has some decent engage stats on it, so Tucson not necessarily feeling Wolf's pain when he picked up his Ardent Sensor very early and then just got destroyed by Longzhu.
Happy that this time around we saw Cinderhawk from Haru, because after missing the early game timestamps, the way Samsung needs to play is deep vision on both sides of the jungle and then setting up for turrets. They need to recreate what wasn't possible as well. Could be bad for QV.
Well, we're going to have a Mega now coming in. Spirit, of course, waiting for that wallop to come down as Kuro delivered the kill all too easily. Marin was just hanging out there as well. The teleport just to guarantee the kill on the top laner.
That's called a party teleport.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
We have party casts all the time.
What I missed? Guys, oh, man, it's like turning up at like midnight after everyone's been playing Twister for hours and you just feel a little bit left out.
See, I like to prefer to think of it as showing up at a concert and not having a ticket and just watching from outside and be like, oh, sounds pretty good.
I like how you like talk that off as if like playing Twister at a party is a normal thing. I haven't played Twister at a party for ages.
Well, there's not going to be many parties at Samsung if they can't actually find a way to get value from this China. Finally, the Sightstone is completed for CoreJJ, but Afreeca playing the map, no teleports up, means that Samsung can play the map a bit more narrow and force Afreeca to slowly walk to mid lane to stop the Tristana from just sieging down turrets.
Well, they're going to try and do that. Marin is going to be the first one to respond as Kuro finishes off a minion wave. He's got his Lich Bane complete.
Okay, this is exactly what Samsung want to do. Maokai's walking up. He'll be there first.
Yeah, he's actually going to get a decent flank in here as well as Kuro. He's going to turn up, does have the Riftwalk available, Grand Entrance. Oh, interrupted by the Monsoon fantastically by CoreJJ, but a disengage is something Afreeca Freaks are probably happy with. They've saved their turret. Everything's fine. And
that's the thing. They're 1,800 gold behind. They can't take true 5-on-5 fights, and they don't even have teleports to get there, and yet they go even to Afreeca. Better than expected for where the game should have been at 21 minutes. They'll just happily repel the push, return to top and bot respectively for Kassadin and Maokai, and no punishment is possible even though Samsung invest the Weaver's Wall.
Yep. Well, QV looking to try and take down this bottom outer turret. We'll see whether Marin's going to get there in time, but it's a decent minion wave here, and QV's got some damage now. Okay. He's actually just looking for this as QV investing a lot to try and take down this turret. Bramble Smash comes in. Marin may have done enough.
We'll lose that easy objective eventually.
Gale flying through. Ruler takes half of his health bar, but not at risk of dying just yet. Alright, Crown in trouble, and this is exactly what you were talking about. Papa does have the heal to come down. Flash comes in as, oh, Kuro not baited. Nicely done. Gets over the wall with the Rift Walk and survives what could have been a definite death if that Rift Walk was to go over the other wall to chase.
He had a ward down over the little mini wall that also importantly got both summoners out of Tilia. So next time, that sort of evacuation will not be as easy. So Kuro got his man, just not quite the kill credit to vindicate his time. Yep. We'll just continue to push, and the Lich Bane's already complete, so he's even a side lane. Turret pressure right now.
And he's in exactly the position to do so. Chunking that one down as he pops the W. Nicely done. Spirit going to solo this Cloud Drake, but Samsung probably happy to give that one up. Blade Caller satisfying wave clear. Skuro should be able to just get rid of that. Lich Bane proc helping out massively.
Meanwhile,
oh god, okay. Looking for this turret in the mid lane as well as Spirit. He's over the wall. Ruler looking for some damage onto Tucson if he can, but look at this. Grand Entrance is going to miss. Spirit looking for the kickback, doesn't get it. A good safety here from Ruler, who has been playing passive, but he sort of has to this game. Positioning is so important, and the Tristana even more so.
Ever-suffering QV gets another good news story for the side of Samsung. It's only 2,000 gold, which is larger than it reads as a number given the Kassadin on the side of Afreeca. It does feel more like a 5,000 gold lead with how much value they're getting from 239 CS. 10 a minute as Kassadin, if you don't mind, coming through. For Kuro, lets you know this game has gone away on the side of Samsung, but not around QV, who's still very powerful.
Marin just in his adorable pajamas going to save his Lee Sin buddy. Are unable to get any sort of engage. Yeah, there's a few good... Oh god, okay. See you later, CoreJJ. You're gonna have to get the heck out of there. That's what happens, man. This Ardent Sensor, I mean, I know it's awful as far as how strong the AD carries get, but it's fun as far as how quickly the supports explode.
A bit of extra ability power as well. Shield intensity there from CoreJJ, who bought Merc Treads. That's not going to save him, but feels a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Don't often see Kassadin this strong this early. Usually by the time Kassadin has 4 or 5 items, you're respecting the chase and the inevitable doom rather than the burst, but you get your items on time, Atlas, and you get this sort of thing that we're denied in Korea. China, a more common pick, especially over the years.
Yeah.
We have seen very little Kassadin in Korea. I believe Faker and Kuro, maybe the only 2 people that have played it this season. Another chase down coming.
BDD as well has played a little bit of the old Kassadin, but it hasn't necessarily been his most successful pick as well. I completely understand. Kuro just waiting in the wings. They've set up this kill onto QV. He's waiting for the Gnar to inevitably be thrown down as Crown. This actually could be the target that Kuro's going to be looking for, but there is the Gnar.
Nothing Crown can do. He's just watching.
See you later, buddy. And the tower falls in the mid lane here as well. Afreeca Freaks just taking names all over the map right now.
It's basically a nature documentary coming through from Crown, watching the prey get caught by the Predator.
Yep.
Predator here's Afreeca, and speaking of Predators...
Yeah, once again, big kickback before any rocket jump can come in, and Spirit's going to lock that one down. Kuro, he's underneath the turret, he's pretty happy, but he's going to be caught. JJ at least has an Eye of the Storm to deter the Cassidy from finishing that one off, and they just want to go towards a Baron. They've got 2 picks. A teleport is at least there for Cuvée, but there's one from Marin as well. So he's going to make his way forward. Haru in a little bit of trouble.
Look
wants
how
to be able to
fast
get
he's going down.
That's just insane. They do have a Mountain Drake, but I feel like this is even more damage than normal. And Haru just gives up on another steal. It is going to be Spirit locking down their first Baron so far of this series.
Got the second one in Game 2, like you say, but first time they picked up the first Baron. It being denied probably was the thing that lengthened the game for Game 1. It could have been a faster finish if Afreeca had actually claimed the Baron. The Lee Sin pick, bringing it back, has worked to treat. It's been a great game by Spirit. Almost 100% kill participation for him. But there's just so many problems from Samsung, and the only person who can really smile about where they're at 26 minutes into the game is Cuvée.
Yeah, and you could probably feel it in Haru as well, because we know this guy is having some unbelievable Lee Sin performances himself. He loves these aggressive junglers. He's probably looking at Spirit so enviously over the rift.
I mean, there's a lot of envy to go around these CJ players. 4 of the 5 that got relegated a year ago. 3 played in the final, and this is the other one, Atlas. Haru was the jungler for the relegated CJ, watching on as his former teammate BDD went on to become the LCK champion. All 3 going to Worlds. He wants to join that squad, but this Samsung that we've seen for 1.5 games is pretty far away from Worlds contention, as far as we can tell.
And Afreeca Freaks are looking at another item from Kuro away from getting to match point in this series as well. I feel like if he gets a death cap, that's going to be a force pulse that kills the entire Samsung Galaxy roster, potentially. He's now got his Zhonya's done. 20% CDR built up. If he has himself a blue buff, which he probably will get the next one, then that just means he's going to be rift walking and partying as much as he wants, and will be so safe as well, given that little timepiece that he's picked up for himself.
Time to chase down Nara again, it seems.
Yep. Spirit and Kuro, who's chasing who? As Haru's going to jump on top of Spirit. Kuro just waiting in the wings. He wants to try and get onto Ruler. Should be able to do so, but Spirit actually just gives up the Ghost. Cuvée going to do the same thing over the other side, so it's even in the end, and there's no dragon to be gained by Samsung or anything like that, and they've got a heck of a lot of way to push the minion wave if they want to get to the inner turret.
The wards we see from Samsung would have been so useful the previous game, but with how this game is going, the 3 control wards on top side won't really be granting anything. Someone had to die for the sins of their team. Spirit on the bot side, Cuvée on the top side, who'll feel a bit sheepish about his score given how well he has played this game. A solo highlight may be all he has to show from it. And Marin, he's just like, well, I got Righteous Glory. Why don't I make the rest of my team do more damage? Cassidy doing 10% more damage sounds good.
Yep, Abyssal Master come in, which is, I believe, what you were alluding to. Bramble Vest in there as well, building towards potential Thornmail if he wants to, but I also like just leaving it at the Bramble Vest and then going about your business as far as your extra items. Gargoyle Stoneplate could be an option here for Marin as well, but he's just got a bevy of options when it comes to the items to pick up. We mentioned things about Maokai. If you get an item that gives you more health and tankiness, it is good.
Trying to work out how much of the 2,300 gold lead for Rakan is from the Relic Shield. I'm going to guess about 800 gold, perhaps, or 600 gold. At least 600, probably around 800, I would say. His Relic Shield does have a kill and more assists, though. And his opposing number, Core JJ, who has GP10, I guess, that we should notice. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of interesting gold generation concerns as well. There was once our Drake, as far as I know.
I'm not even sure whether that's true. That may have actually... Oh my god, Core JJ at it again. As in goes Tucson. That Battle Dance to Grand Entrance combo just looks so seamless. His crown could be the next target. Kuro just ripped walking and having a great time. Almost a double knockup, but thankfully for Ruler, he does get out of the way and rocket jumps to safety. Oh, message received, Kuro. Yes, you're a man that needs respect.
No introduction required for the caster, and guess what? He can just reload for health and mana, come back again with the home guards. They're going to turn onto their final inner turret, I should say, to be destroyed. All the easy objectives dead for the side of Afreeca. They only have a Cassidy, so actually breaking the base probably needs a Baron buff, and there's one spawning in a couple of minutes' time.
Yep, has just about timed out here for the Afreeca Freaks moments ago. No dragons there to be taken as well. Just going to mill about for a bit, I think, and get these other lanes in order. Kuro just experimenting with the exorbitant amount of damage that he now does. Blasting Wand in his back pocket. Looks to be a Void Staff to come in next, unless he wants to turn the stick into a hat.
Samsung Galaxy poised to go 0-8 in the offseason so far this year. Atlas went down 3-0 to KT Rolster. Spring went down 3-0 to SK Telecom. Gonna go 2 games down to Afreeca, and it's 3 different opponents, and perhaps the most worrying thing of all of that is they haven't really looked close in any of those games.
No, and Afreeca Freaks at this stage, I mean, you can almost call this game over. I know 8,000 gold feels like it's over, and as commentators, we should always be open to the comeback, but Afreeca just set up in so many different ways to not lose this game. They have been very creative in how they've been able to lose other games that they've looked in complete control of, but now with Kramer having all the items that he could ever want, those first 3 in the Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, and Rapid Fire Cannon just so good, plus Kuro being out of control massive. It becomes such a scary prospect.
Becomes kind of like a BS filter, right? Because you look down the items as a list, and you're like, okay, well, what does a team fight look like that Afreeca loses? And with where the items are at, there isn't a super tank to ignore damage from, say, Kassadin and Kramer. That doesn't exist. And then when the engages come, like we're seeing, they're pretty deadly.
Yep, the double teleporters. Kuro actually underneath the turret here as well. Crown will have to move himself out of the way as they just destroy Ruler. They had 1 target. Oh, that was a fantastic rip over the Howling Gale, but yeah, that blue buff is going to have to charge itself up. I believe he was charging that Riptorque for a long time, wanted to just kill someone instantly, but that was probably costing about 1,000 mana.
There's just no team fight that Samsung wins where the game and the items are at Atlas. That's why I can't see them coming back into this game, and it might just end here.
Yeah, the kickback, they get the other target that they're looking for. Crown gets eviscerated. Kramer picks up that kill. It's not necessarily the Kramer squad this time, but it's Afreeca Freaks showing us that they can play around Kuro, they can play around Spirit's Lee Sin, and they can sack top, they can sack bottom lane, and just still win. It's a different style once again.
And it was denied to them by MVP after game 2. No more Maokai was available. They lost their first Maokai game post-rework, and you wondered how, given that Marin has one of the most impressive career win rates of any person on the Maokai. Famously, only ever lost a single game on SKT, 37-1 on SK Telecom
just
on the
insane.
Maokai. And sure, the number's not quite as high now, but it's above 80% win rate. His teleports have always been his strong suit, and they had the double teleport dream. And then, one dead, they knew they could relentlessly dive, and beautiful stuff from Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And they just get the targets that they want as well. This isn't Afreeca Freaks that are playing intelligent League of Legends. And I know that this is an LCK team. We should expect Smart League to come out of everyone, but Afreeca Freaks, like you say, they've played the best and the worst, but we're seeing the best here today, and it's where they need it as well. Quickness has been popped, and Tucson, this is a 5-item support. This Rakan is probably the strongest one that I've ever seen at 30 minutes into the game. That is a dead Haru. Ruler? Oh, that's a cute one. Decides to bust a shot Marin back, but Righteous Glory almost closed the distance, but not quite enough. Oh, QV. This is all he can really do. Baron is up. He's going to clear out Vision, and I believe that this one's going to die pretty damn fast. Kuro backing on a ward to show QV that he's at least probably going to get some work done on this turret, but he's going to teleport in. They're actually looking for some sort of fight, but the Baron does fall, and he cancels the teleport. Kuro wants this 1v1. He's pretty tanky, but not quite tanky enough, I don't think, because Kuro's got so much damage. Oh, God, just... Oh, avoids the Gnar as well. And there's another Riftwalk. He's got all his cooldowns back up, and that is a very dead Gnar. That 1v1, not as fair as the situation created by the 1 versus 2 on the top side earlier in the game.
You certainly can't heap any criticism onto QV. He made the right move. He knew that Afreeca had to go for Baron to finish the game because against Janna and the potential turnarounds, turret dives without the Baron were risky. With the Baron, oh so much easier. So QV dies. Still has a 35-second death timer. It's a front door introduction for Afreeca Freaks, and they're looking to go 2-0.
Yep. Kuro at full mana here as well, which is very terrifying. Every point of mana just feels like potential death. As they interrupt the rocket jump. That spells the death of Ruler as well, and that's the double kill for Kuro. They'll take down the Nexus turrets also easily. Match point once again for the Afreeca Freaks. Whether we're going to get a Samsung reverse sweep is yet to be known, but